So now that I've got these points laid out, all I need to do is find the peak of the triangle. So I know that I'm halfway in X, which is 200, because the whole size of my canvas is 500, so I know halfway is 250, and I know that this is 250. So if I went about halfway, around 100 or so, I'm going to put the point right around here. So I'm going to say that the peak of my triangle peak is in X 250 and in Y 100. And I'm going to see, I'm going to make a point in that position and see if I'm right. So I'm going to say in X it's 250 and in Y it's 100 and what I say? 100. So I'll draw that and to see if I got anything correct. So that's where my triangle will be. Now, my triangle will actually just be at the very corner, but I want them to extend out a little bit. So I'm going to add or subtract 10 from each one of my corner values in X. So I'm going to subtract X off this one, the left one, and add I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So that'll give my corners out a little bit farther. So if I go here, my bottom left, I need to subtract 20 from this because I'm going away from the middle. I'm subtracting it. So that will be 151. Oops. And the bottom right, I'm going to add 20 to that. So 146. And so now I need to basically draw my triangle. So I need to go look, if I'm not familiar with it, I've got to go to the coordinate system here, go to my references, look up shapes and look up a triangle. And I know that I've got to insert the points for each one. Each one's going to have an X and Y value. So X and Y, X and Y, X and Y. So this is going to be my basic format for my triangle. So my numbers are going to be, my first one I can draw. It doesn't matter which point I draw first. I know I'm going to have 151 and 174. So that's my bottom left. My bottom right is going to be 346. And my bottom 346 by 174. So I'm drawing the bottom across this way, and then I'll go up to the top. And my peak is going to be 250 and by 100. And I need to define the stroke weight. Control copy. So if I want my roof to have a different stroke weight, I'll need to do that. Now, the only thing I'm wondering about is no, it won't matter. So there's my roof, and I can change the values, and then I want to get rid of these points. So one thing I could do is I could put a comment around those points, and they will not render because it'll ignore that information. So there's my house, there's my roof, and there is my base. Now I can go on to create more complex things. If I wanted to change the color of my house, I wanted to change the color of my roof. Say I wanted to make the roof black, and I could just say fill, and then I could give it a value of 0, and then that would give me a black roof on top. Okay? So you're going to be creating your own drawings based on coordinate systems and adding places. You can look at the different kinds of shapes possible. You can actually make polygonal shapes where you have lots of different coordinate points and it'll draw a line. You can actually make Bezier curves and make nice organic types of shapes. So if you go back and you look at these things, you can create quads. You can choose different points to make irregular types of shapes, or you can use curves and Bezier curves and create a curved object and a curved background. And so all those things are really, really fun, and really interesting to experiment with, and something that you should be looking into and exploring. All right, I hope you enjoy it. You're going to do a lot with processing, but this is a nice starting place for you to kind of get familiar with what it is that you're wanting to do. As an example of what's possible, you can take this idea. So here's someone's code, and they're creating a shape using the begin shape and the end shape, and they're creating a lot of points. There's a lot of code here, but when you run this, they're using colors and different shapes, and you can create something as complex as this moose. It kind of looks like a bear with antlers. Other examples, we'll look at some other examples here. People can do animation. So you can create an animated image as well, based on animation over time. So you can create lots of interesting things. So it's not all just stationary. Let's look at something else while we have a moment. You can see the different amounts of code, all basically just drawing shapes on the screen. So here's another one, using different colors and different values to create sense of depth and direction. So with that, there's a lot of things that you can do. And you can actually do other things as well. You can actually do some interactivity. Another example is interactivity. So I drew this. With a bunch of code, and what it's going to be doing is it's going to be basing its locations off the mouse coordinate systems. But what it's also going to be doing is recognizing mouse events, and it's got conditions that allow you to set up restrictions, saying that if something is happening at a certain point or in a certain place. So for instance, when my mouse is in a certain location, it changes the glasses. When it's over here, they turn red. When it's down here, they turn blue. When it's over here, so depending on what quadrant I'm in, black and green and blue and red. And I'm also got a little bit of wiggle movement on there when I wiggle the mouse. And if I hit the space bar, I got a little animation here. And if I right mouse on it, it draws my hair up and down. If I left mouse, I get blinking. So I have interactivity. And that's the kind of stuff that you can do with processing too. You can have interactivity, you can have information, you can get information from the keyboard. So it's a lot of fun. And we're just scratching the surface with what's possible. So anyway, have fun and enjoy exploring the possibilities of processing.